So good morning. You've seen me in the past make vinegars, extracted vinegars, where I put the vinegar in and my herbs and they extracted. You've seen me make tinctures where the menstruum was the alcohol that extracted the nutrients out of the herbs. And now today you're going to see me do another thing, and something that's really important, and I wish we could all do something like this, and it's for our skin. Our skin is our biggest organ, and we want to keep it healthy. So what I'm doing today, and it's going to take about 6 weeks. There's other ways, faster ways. I've done about 3 different ways, but I always come back to this way. And so, yeah, I'm going to get a spoon. So what I'm going to do is, because I had so much lavender that I harvested this year, I'm going to, oh, and it smells, oh my goodness. Oh, it's a very relaxing smell. Anyway, I'm going to use my lavender, and this time I'm just using, because I use a lot of olive oil for carrier oil. I'm going to use some other ones, and when I do, I'll show you and tell you about them. But olive oil is just good on your skin. And so I'm going to put in my jar a good amount of this lavender. I want it about half full. Now, I'm going to suggest, if you don't have lavender in your yard, but you have some other herbs, you could do this with other herbs, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. But here we go, and it's not a big science. Oh, and this is organic, and it's extra virgin, not version. Okay, it took it all. Now this is something. Do you want to come through, Mr. Tom?
I can get her on behind you.
Okay. Anyway, this is something we will have to watch that it doesn't mold. And I want it to sit for 6 weeks. Okay, I never thought of this until just now. Sometimes they put a little bit of alcohol on the top. If I had some, I don't know that I really, I don't think I have some. If I find some later, just a little skiff. And I really wish this was, no, I might, oh, I already took it off. It might have, anyway, I might put a little more oil in it, or just a skiff of alcohol to keep that from molding. But we want to watch that real careful. So I'm going to put the date on, and I want it to go 6 weeks. Now if I knew the date, I know, wait just a minute, I gotta look. Okay, we are on, aha, okay, got it. So, I'll see you in, I'm writing on lavender and olive oil. Okay, and I'm going to have to check on this, and I may put just a little skiff of, I don't know, vodka on the top to keep it sort of like a seal across there. Okay, now let's say in your yard you had mint. You could go pick your mint, and then I'd want you to lay it out overnight or even a couple of days, let it dry somewhat, then get it off the stem and put it in your jar and cover it with your oil. And be sure and watch it every day. Get it down under that oil, stir it around, or as often as you can think of it. And there are other methods you could pick to do it, and you might find them online. Okay, you could do it with mint, lemon balm, yarrow, comfrey, but whatever you do it with, if you could let me know, when we go to make that, I could sort of tell you what to add with it to make it into either a nice salve or a cream or whatever. So let me know if you're going to do it and what you're doing it with. Okay, oh, I better wash that one now. It is oily. Some other things that I wanted to say is about sunscreen. A lot of sunscreen has petroleum products in it. Mineral oils. Ooh, I'm wiping that. And we don't want mineral oils on our skin. It's sort of like eating junk food. It's a junk food to our skin, but maybe even worse, because what it does, it's like, it would be like putting saran wrap on top of our skin and sealing it in. Then the air can't get to it. The nutrients can't get into it because we've sealed it off. And so make sure if you're using sunscreen, do some of the right ones. Really read your labels. And we really don't want chemicals on our skin. And I thought I would tell you the different oils that have natural UV protection in them. Now there's quite a few. I'm only going to read the common ones. Avocado oil, hazelnut, meadow foam, sesame, shea butter, and all of your tropical oils in general, which are the tropical oils, and I'm not going to read them all again, but Brazil nut, cocoa butter, coconut oil, mango, your palm oil, shea butters, and different oils like that. So those would be, you could put those on for protection from the sun, and they might work as well. They'd work better than the petroleum products because you don't want to put those on your skin.
Yeah, the mineral oil is made for the car engine.
Yes, yes.
That's
And
what you do with mineral oil.
yeah. So, and the other thing, okay, it says synthetic chemicals are just so much junk food, and so we don't want them. Okay. Oh, another thing I was going to bring out, and when I was making, the first time I made soap was 2 or 3 moves back, and I was probably in my 50s, so a lot of years ago. And I don't make these fancy soaps. Mine is just plain Jane soap with a lot of good oils in it, a lot of good fragrances, but they're not works of art, they're soap. And so when I was getting into it, and I was doing goat's milk soap, I read the secret to Cleopatra's beauty was the milk. She bathed in milk every day. And then I read in here the secret to her beauty was that she used a lot of oils on her skin. And you know what? She committed suicide at 26. I see a lot of 26-year-old girls that don't do much of anything, and they look pretty. So I think it had a lot to do with her age. But also, taking as many baths as we do is fairly a new thing. Just think, I think it was the Queen of Spain or somebody during that time. I think they had 2 or 3 baths in their lifetime. They bathed them as when they were born, I think when they got married, and when they died, they bathed them. But what did they do in the meantime besides smell bad? Well, they used oil, and they cleaned themselves with oil. They put it on, and then they'd sort of scrape off the dead skin, and then they'd re-oil. And in the book of Esther, it talks, oh, I was going to look this up, for how many months. Was it 6 months, 9 months, a year? Anyway, Esther was treated with these oils, and not only the fixed oils, but the essential oils. And she was prepared with these. So one of the things, when we bathe every day, we wash off our natural oils. We go out into the sun. If we don't put anything back, we sort of dry ourselves out. It's hard for us to absorb then the vitamin D into our skin, and just about the time we have it there, it's time for another bath, and we've done it off again. And that's the one supplement, well, there's a few, but vitamin D I take, because that's something we're all maybe low in, and it's very important. So I do take that. But the other thing is, and this is the, that's the good side. The bad side was, remember when the Pilgrims first came to America and they met the Indians, and one group just couldn't stand the smell of the other group? Well, it was the Indians that couldn't stand the smell of us. They bathed, they were clean, but and just think, they came over on those boats, took them a long time. They probably, just imagine the smell. I'm going to tell you a story, and then I'll let you go. I worked in a small grocery store in a small town. I may have told you this story. I'm getting old here, but some of you haven't heard it. Anyway, I worked in this small grocery store, and there was a man that came in, and he had lots of cats, and the rumor was that he even fed some of the skunks in town. Well, that was a little bit how he smelled, but I'm not sure he fed skunks. But he bought a lot of cat food, and he would come in, and when he would come in, that aisle that he walked down through, we avoided for some time. And then if he came to our checkout, we sort of gulped as we saw him come, took a big bunch of air in, and waited on him really fast. But it was a small store, and lots of times I had to walk out with him with his groceries. And I can remember opening his door and breathing deep, holding my breath, and putting the groceries in. But once in a while then, I don't know how many times a year he took a bath, but when he did, he was so pink and pretty and just clean looking. And then pretty soon it would be like that. So we do need hygiene, and baths and water, and aren't we thankful for it? But we also need to hydrate our skin with some good oils. So that's what I'm doing today, and we'll talk about it later, but it might take me quite a while because I want that to sit 6 weeks to absorb all the goodness of that lavender into the oil. And lavender is good for our skins. It's something that, if you burn yourself, lavender comes to the aid. If you get an insect bite, it helps. If we need to relax, it helps. It's just good for our skin. So, one last thing. Only 2 tomatoes on my counter. That's all I got this morning. So there I am. Okay, enjoy your day, and do an about face.